I'm free-forming tonight. I've got some chicken fillets. They were huge, so I've actually cut them in half and their skin on. I'm making a chicken tarragon fricassee. Fricassee is when you brown the meat off and then it is poached or stewed. I don't like the word stewed, but so it's cooked in liquid, but we're going to brown it off first. So you want some chicken fillets, you want some tarragon. You can use any herbs. The point of me doing these cooking films are that you can actually do whatever you want, because I usually base what I'm cooking around what I can find around the house. I've got some flour because we're going to coat the chicken in flour, and some seasoning. I've got some fennel seeds which I've ground to a powder. Other ingredients you're going to need are double cream. You're going to need some white wine. You're going to need some chicken stock. That's for the chicken. I'm going to serve it with buttered orzo with some cabbage on top. Okay, let's get going. Oh, I might as well just get going. I don't need to pause the film. So into this bowl, I'm not measuring anything. I'm doing, I guess that's 2 tablespoons of flour. I'm going to put in, I'm sorry, I'm doing lots of tonight. I'm going to put in a few pinches of this ground up fennel, because that's just going to really complement the tarragon flavour. I'm going to put in a generous pinch of salt. I'm going to mix it up, and then the chicken will get coated in that lovely, oh, I do love the smell of fennel, in the flour. Now, as I'm preparing this, my mind is going, I haven't got an actual fennel bulb, but you could very thinly slice a fennel bulb and that could all go in the poaching liquid when you're cooking it. Top tip, always have a glass of wine when you're cooking. So I'm heating a pan. I've put in a tablespoon. Tonight I've decided on rapeseed oil. I could have used vegetable oil. I probably could have used olive oil, because I'm not going to have it particularly, it's not going to be cooking at a hugely high heat, but it's over a medium heat, and I'm heating the oil. I have to say, I get really nervous when I'm free-forming, because I'm filming a dish that I've never cooked before, and I'm kind of making it up as I'm going along. So bear with me. And my advice is, if you want to cook it, is watch it through to the end in case I make any mistakes as I go. I'm also asked all the time about these pans. It's Netherton Foundry. I've got a frying pan. I've got 2 different sizes of these big pans. And in terms of how they cook, they're phenomenal. They will last you a lifetime. Because they're iron, the heat is just fantastic. So I think my oil hopefully is hot enough. I'm just going to pop these in skin side down. Yes, they've got a nice little fizz going. So they're going in skin side down. And I'm going to leave them cooking on a medium heat until they're nice and brown all over. So I'm going to do skin side first, and then I'll turn them over. Meanwhile, while you're cooking the chicken, you can start the orzo. I'm cooking the orzo the absorption method, rather than just cooking it in a lot of water. And I'm going to toast the orzo. So in terms of quantities, I've got 25 grams of butter that I'm going to melt. I've got 150 grams of orzo, and whatever quantity of orzo you use, so if it's 150 grams of orzo, I've got 300 grams of stock. You can use vegetable stock or chicken stock. I'm using chicken stock just because I've got it. So if you were doing 200 grams of orzo, 400 grams of stock. I'm just going to wait for that butter to melt, and then I'm going to toast the orzo. Butter is bubbling, so I'm going to put the orzo in, and I'm going to stir that and let it cook in the butter for a couple of minutes until it starts toasting and even going slightly brown. And you'll be able to smell it. It'll start smelling really nutty. Meanwhile, let's check the chicken. That's browning nicely. I'm going to leave that for a bit longer before I turn it over. So my chicken is cooked for about 4 or 5 minutes on the skin side. It's done 2 or 3 minutes on the other side. I'm now going to pour in what will probably be, it's about 100 ml of wine. And I'm going to let that reduce almost completely until it's like a nice syrup before we put in some stock. Use the spatula to just release any stuck on bits on the bottom and let the wine bubble away. I'm actually just going to move that. I've brought the camera in closer so you can see the wine is now literally just coating the bottom of the pan. I've got 200 ml of chicken stock. I'm going to pour that around. I'm trying to not pour it over the top because obviously the chicken skin is still nice and crispy. I'm going to bring that to a boil and then drop it down to a simmer for about 10 minutes. I've got three bits of tarragon, plus I've got the stalks from some other tarragon that I'm going to use to finish the dish with. The orzo is cooking nicely. In fact, I did completely forget because my stock doesn't have salt in. I am going to add quite a generous, I would say that's probably half a teaspoon of salt that I'm putting in. And just towards the end of the cooking time, I've got some shredded cabbage, which I'm going to sit on top and I'm going to leave it with the lid on, and that will cook the cabbage through. This looks absolutely delicious. The chicken fricassee is bubbling away and we'll finish it off with some cream. I've probably got a couple of minutes left on the orzo cooking time, so I'm actually just putting some finely shredded hispy cabbage on the top, and I'm going to put a lid on it and let it, and I'm going to salt it, salt the cabbage, just put the lid on the top, and I'm just going to leave that for 2 or 3 minutes and then I will stir it through. I've also got a jar of sun-dried tomatoes, so I'm going to finely chop 2 sun-dried tomatoes. I'm going to stir all of that through the orzo when it's finished. The chicken's been cooking for about 10 minutes in the stock and the wine. I'm now going to pour some double cream in. Everything tastes better with double cream. I would say this is about 100 ml. I'm going to turn it up and let it come to a simmer, give it a stir. I've also added some pepper. I have put some pepper in now. I didn't put the pepper in before because, as I've said before on other films, when you're frying off meat, you shouldn't put pepper on because pepper burns. But now it's poaching nicely in this sauce. Let me taste it. Yum. Oh, yum! That is good. Let's go to the orzo. You can see the cabbage has really wilted down. And in fact, you need to give this a stir so it doesn't stick to the bottom. I'd say that's done. I'm actually going to turn the heat off on that. That is the right one. I've got my sun-dried tomatoes. I'm going to stir all of that through. And I'm going to leave the lid on. Actually, what's better with orzo is to get the excess moisture off, is to put a tea towel over the saucepan. Tea towel over the saucepan, and then a lid, and just leave it to steam. If you want to make your sauce really thick, my advice at this point would be to take the chicken out because it is still crispy on top to preserve it. Then you can bubble away without overcooking the chicken, and then we'll put the chicken back in the pan at the end. You can see I've reduced this right down. Tastes lovely. I'm going to put the chicken pieces back in to make sure that they're warm through and they won't be overcooked. They are still crispy on top. I'm putting in all of the reserved cooking juices. I'm going to sprinkle it with plenty of tarragon because it is tarragon chicken after all. All of it freshly picked from the garden. And now we'll serve it. And ready to serve. Take the lid off the orzo and the tea towel. It does need some pepper. You could actually, if you wanted, you could add a few chili flakes, but I'm not sure it needs it. This is more your sort of Mediterranean flavour. So we're just going to put some orzo with cabbage to the side. Then some chicken. Let's have 2 pieces. And plenty of, ouch, that's hot. And plenty of the tarragon sauce. You've gone to so much trouble to keep your chicken skin nice and crispy. So pour the sauce around the side so the chicken sits in it. And there you have my tarragon chicken fricassee with orzo. I just want to add to the end of this film, because I've now eaten it, you can see the ingredient that surprised me the most, and I realised is really important, were the sun-dried tomatoes in the orzo, because the acidity was just enough to cut through the creaminess of the chicken and the butteriness of the orzo. If you haven't got any sun-dried tomatoes, I would suggest finishing this with a lovely little spritz of lemon. I think it would benefit from it. Okay, that's me over and out.